Hello, this is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space channel. Today is Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. It is the sixth day of Hanukkah. I've not taken the candles out from uh, the fifth day, so I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Let's see. Make sure I'm right. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one was the Shemish. So we are on the sixth day of Hanukkah. So I'm going to go ahead and get the candles ready. Now, when you light the candles, you light them from the newest candle over, but when you place the candles, you place them from right to left, just like Hebrew is read from right to left. Some of these have already been used. So I'm just looking through all the candles to find a new candle. I'm going to have to go into the box. I've had some duds, and I'm worried about having enough candles for all 8 days. So hopefully all these will burn well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're on the 6th day. So it looks like all the wicks are extended. Some of the wicks have been, earlier had been pushed down on the side, but even some of the ones that had stuck out did not burn. So it's kind of a gamble at this point if the candles are going to burn or not. I don't think I'll order this brand of candles again for this menorah. Now, most menorahs, or a lot of menorahs, modern stylistic menorahs can be of any kind. You can have oil menorahs, which are more true, historically true, because the menorah for the Festival of Lights that was in the temple burned oil. And there was only 1 day of oil, but it burned 8 days. And that was the Festival of Lights miracle. So the first candle is the Shemish, which means that it lights others. So yes, Myra is playing with fire. And you take and light the first candle. And it is the lighter candle, or the Shemish. And then when you light the rest of the menorah, you light it from the newest candle. So we're on the 6th day. So we're going to light that first. And go down the line. That one's not going to work. I'm going to have to take some of the ones that didn't work before and put my fingernail into the tips and expose some more wick on them. I mean, they all had those centimeter long wicks on them, but it failed. So I'm doing this, and I'll do them in the same order. I don't want to use the same ones that were just burning, or I just tried the light, because they might be hot still. Sorry I have to do this, but not really happy with these candles. And I'm new at this, so I'm still going in the order from the newest to the oldest. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, this is cool. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this one to light after taking the tip off. Okay, just one more. For the sixth night of Hanukkah, I'm going to read from the Maccabees, which is in the Inner Testament. It's not part of Jewish writings or Protestant Christian writings. The Catholics accept it, and there are a few Protestants that accept it. And I'm not sure if Messianic Jews accept it or not. I haven't researched that. But this is the history of the restoration of the temple, and the menorah, or the candlestick that burnt for 8 days miraculously, was in the restored temple after the revolt. So we're in 1 Maccabees chapter 4, starting in verse 36. Judas and his brothers said, "Now that our enemies have been defeated, let's go to Jerusalem to purify the temple and rededicate it." So the whole army was assembled, and they went to Mount Zion. There they found the temple abandoned, altar profaned, gates burned down, the courtyards growing up in the forest of weeds, and the priest rooms torn down. In their sorrow, they tore their clothes, cried loudly, threw ashes on their heads, and fell face down on the ground. When the signal was given on the trumpets, everyone cried to the Lord. Then Judas entered some of his soldiers to attack the men in the fort while he purified the temple. So they were still fighting while they were purifying the temple. He chose some priests who were qualified and who were devoted to the law. They purified the temple and took the stones that had been defiled and put them in an unclean place. They discussed what should be done with the altar of burnt offerings, which had been desecrated by the Gentiles, and decided to tear it down so that it would not stand there as a monument to their shame. So they tore down the altar and put the new stones in a suitable place on the temple hill, where they would be kept until a prophet should appear and decide what to do with them. Then they took uncut stones, as the law of Moses required, and built a new altar like that of the old one. They repaired the temple inside and out and dedicated its courtyards. They made new utensils for worship and brought the lampstand and the altar of incense, the lampstand, and the table for the bread, the showbread table, unto the temple. They burned incense on the altar and lit the lamps on the lampstand, and there was light in the temple. They placed the loaves of bread on the table, hung the curtains, and completed the work. The 25th day of the 9th month, the month of Kislev, in the year 448, was the anniversary of the day of the Gentiles had desecrated the altar. On that day, the sacrifices was offered up to on the new altar in the second to according to what the law of Moses. The new altar was dedicated and hymns were sung in the accompaniment of harps, lutes, and cymbals. All the people bowed down on their faces and the ground and worship and praised the Lord for giving them victory. For 8 days they celebrated the rededication of the altar with the great joy. They had brought burnt offerings and offered fellowship offerings and thanksgivings. They decorated the front of the temple with gold crowns and shields, built the gates and priest rooms, put the doors on them. Now the Jews had removed all the shame which the Gentiles had brought. They held a great celebration. Then Judas, his brothers, and the entire community of Israel decreed that the rededication of the altar should be celebrated with a festival of joy and gladness at the same time each year, beginning on the 25th of the month of Kislev and lasting for 8 days. And this is Hanukkah. And they shall build high the walls and strong towers around Mount Zion, so that the Gentiles could not come in and tremble and defile it again. Judas placed a detachment of soldiers there to guard the temple. He also fortified the town of Bethzur, so that the people of Israel would have a fortress facing Adullam's. So they weren't going to allow it to happen again. And they cleaned the temple up and sanctified it. And the light shone. The light burned again. Now I just got something in I wanted to show you. This is guilt. And this is what I've been talking about with pertaining to the dreidel game. So let me get this out. Don't want to cut into that blue part, whatever that is. In this mash bag. Okay, there's several mash bags, and each person would get a mesh bag here. It says guilt with chocolate coins. So you separate these out and give each one to each person. It looks like There's 3 coins in each. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess 1 for each night. If you had a child that you wanted to have 1 for each night, or you could play dreidel with this. So what you do is, let's say you're playing with all 8 people, they would all put a coin in each. And in the middle of these is chocolate. So these are quite a treat if you win them. So everybody puts 1 in, and they spin the dreidel. And let's see what I get. Gimel, please, Gimel. And I got hay. So with hay, you take out half. So the person would take out half, and the next person would play. And they got hay. So they take out the other half, which would leave 2. So you spin again. The third player would spin. And they got hay. So there's 1 left. I keep getting hay. Hay, hay, hay. And then shin, you put 1 in. So now there's 2 coins in. So let me spin again. That fell off the table. I'm trying to get Gimel. There we go. So the person that gets Gimel takes all that's left in the cup, and then everybody puts another coin in, and you play until 1 person has all the coins. And I'll link a reading about the Hebrew letter Gimel related to Psalm 119 in the description, or I'll put it in a post. But the Festival of Hanukkah is full of food, games, celebration. It's a time of joy to celebrate the Festival of Lights and the miracle of the oil. And they have deep fried foods that they make in oil, and they have a wonderful time celebrating the recovery of the oppression and the victory of the lights burning and becoming independent again from all the oppression. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? You all have a wonderful and blessed day.